I hit record. All right. So, how are you doing today, Sam? Thank you so much for making time to join us here.
No, I'm doing great, Ali. Thanks for having me. Yeah, weather's doing good. We're, getting past the hump day, right? So, we're doing all right, man.
All right. All right. So, you have some really interesting and extensive experience here. I love your product
I
background.
appreciate that. Thanks.
Um, if you don't mind, I didn't get a chance to look too much into your resume. If you don't
Sure.
mind, like walk me through your background and kind of tell me about yourself.
Yeah, not a problem at all. So, I guess where do I begin? I've been in the project management game for a while now, juggling a lot of the, both the bigger picture strategy stuff as well as the nitty-gritty tactical execution. I've had obviously in the years that I've been working, I've had the opportunity to also work on a lot of really cool projects, all the way from, complete redesigns where you're freshening up a lot of the product lines, or yeah, freshening up a lot of the product lines, and then all the way to, launching really key features for a lot of our users that were the first of its kind. So that's a little bit about my past, and then I would say, throughout those years, I've also, have a bit of a mixed background because I've been able to work with so many different groups. So, I've been working, I feel like I've gotten a lot of my technical chops from working with closely with the engineering team, guiding them through a lot of the API designs and that technical stuff. As well as also kind of tapping into like my creative side, which has been really fun. So been able to work hand in hand closely with our UX team, sometimes even jumping into design tools, which is fun, and kind of helping, I guess, our UX team really kind of envision what I have envisioned, right, with what the products should look like, or what the product should, what the product should be. So, that's a little bit more of like my background, I guess you can say, with just working with so many different teams. And then, but really, my strengths are, day-to-day strengths are just leading teams, right? So, working, whether, teams are across the hall or next door to, colleagues that are across the globe. I really like working with a lot of people. We bring a lot of the big issues, to focus, as well as, translating a lot of those big issues into user stories, so that it helps make sense for our dev teams, right? And then while also kind of like keeping everything kind of running smoothly, throughout all that crazy agile roller coaster, I'm sure that that you might be aware of, right? So, everything from launching, planning to launching is something that I've been able to, keep my hands on, and been able to uh, help the team kind of maneuver through. Um, so yeah, and then I'll just say like, um, you know, um, I would say that, it's been great, kind of like, growing my career. I'm able to kind of tackle a lot of the challenges, a lot of challenges, as well as, um, see the impact that, what we've done on a lot of our product lines, with, and how those have impacted our users. And it's been really great to see. I really enjoy the current team and the culture that we have here. I honestly wasn't really planning on leaving at all, or even just looking for a job or anything like that. But there's been a lot of talks with, potentially a lot of our teams coming into work, and that's just kind of not how I really jive, and kind of work in my best environment, right? So, just want to see what's a little bit more out there. I know that's what you guys are doing really aligns with, with a lot of the work I've done in the past, and a lot of the, and what I've heard, so much, so far about the culture, really also aligns with, with a lot of my, likes as well too. So, I'm hoping to kind of bring a lot of the, design, as well as the strategy, and, and some of the technical chops, to the team and help and trying to help out you guys as much as possible. So it's a little bit about myself. Hopefully, that answers a lot some of your questions. So please let me know if there's something that I didn't answer that I can jump into a little bit more.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to use the sandwich method to give you
Okay,
constructive feedback. So,
sure.
positive, negative, positive. So first of all, I love it, man. You sound like, you're professional. You sound experienced. You sound confident. I do hear the nervousness because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know you, so I hear the
yeah, yeah,
nervousness,
yeah.
but
I
that's
think
okay.
I think towards the end of the script, because I knew like the first like three like really well, three or four really well, and then like the sort of the last kind of tidbits were just kind of things I'm like trying to yeah. So
And that's okay. Yeah, everyone feels nervous, when you're
mhm,
practicing. That's the whole purpose of like doing mock interviews. You want
mhm,
to do this more. And what I recommend is actually, as crazy and insane as this sounds, and it is insane, but literally, going through your mock interview, even if you go through like the script that you have for your introduction, at least bare minimum like 33 times.
oh
And
yeah,
I know,
yeah,
and it's almost
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like or some of my students have actually done 100 times, and you just to the point where you kind of get sick of it, like the
Yeah,
words
yeah.
are just kind of flowing, because just like an actor, once you have like the words kind of down, then you could focus in on things like, okay, I'm gonna voice projection and
Mm-hmm.
tonality, and like you could be kind of relaxed, and you could experiment a little bit with this and a little bit with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this Tell Me About Yourself script is probably the only script I would say for any interview, doesn't matter what you're interviewing with, that you just have to have down, and you cannot freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change, because I used to do that, right? Every single interview I used to
Mm-hmm.
do, I always freestyled my intros. And I realized, man, it's like sometimes I shoot myself in the foot because I keep blabbering,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't want it to go on too long, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want it to be too short.
Mm-hmm.
So what I recommend is kind of the initial part was great. You talk about what you have, the several years of experience, and then I want you to kind of do this fork in the road where, hey, like, I have several years of strategic and tactical, product management experience. Um, Number one on the strategic side, and then walk through what you've done strategically, pause for like a brief second, and then number two on the tactical side, boom, boom, boom. And almost
Okay.
every time you open your mouth, unless you're doing a hardcore like product design question, you want to let them know where you're going. Give them a map. And the map is basically, hey, I'm going to talk to you about three things. One, two, three. And then paragraph one, here's the first thing. Boom, boom, boom. Second,
Mm-hmm.
boom, 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 three, boom, boom. It helps you anchor yourself, but it also helps them know when you're going to shut up, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing is the guy's like, he's only got 30 minutes. He's a director,
Mm-hmm.
and if you kill 10 minutes, it's like, man, they had all these other questions, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're going to lose the opportunity. So um I think that's going to help you get through it. um in terms of the yeah, so that's the constructive feedback that I'd like you to work on, tightening that up. And then I would say, I feel like you sold yourself really well in the first like 3 minutes. At that moment you could just be quiet. Now here's the most important thing for transitions. I know you said like I love my current company, I'm not actively looking to leave, et cetera, et cetera. And that's great. That shows that, like you're just kind of exploring opportunities. Excellent. But at that moment, you don't want to keep talking. You want to say, so I'm here today because, it looks like this is a perfect fit based on my background. And I'm excited to know more about this, more about what you guys are doing. Remember, if you're like this, you're begging for a job,
Right, right, right.
versus I'm just looking. I'm like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
know more. It's this interview is an interview as much as it is you're interviewing me. I'm interviewing you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at my company. I want to know,
Right,
hey,
right.
is this uh is this an exciting enough opportunity for me to join? And if it's, if it's Instagram, if it's Facebook, if it's Google, you could even, as you're practicing, you could choose a particular team. Maybe it's onboarding at TikTok, right?
Mhm.
So you could talk about, hey, B2B onboarding. I'm really interested to know how you guys are implementing B2B onboarding, and what type of product team you guys have, and I want to know more about this role and the day to day.
Mhm.
That speaks volumes on your leadership and your confidence, and it also tells them, hey, they got to be on their A game. They have to be prepared, because this guy Sarum, he wants to know, he's got a solid background.
Mhm. Mhm.
I better tell him what he wants, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And you'll keep them on their toes. They're going to get a little nervous, which is always good.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's better for them to be more nervous than you.
Right, right, right.
so,
Okay,
so
cool.
next steps. I want you to tighten this up a little bit with the script. I want you to get a
Okay.
little bit more comfortable. I
Okay.
love, like I said, I love your confidence. I want you to get to a point where you don't feel the jitters. I don't want to hear the nervousness in your voice. So just over and over again. Um, I want to meet tomorrow. Let's
Okay.
not, because the thing is, if you space it out,
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, let's meet
yeah.
tomorrow.
So
So when you mean like tying up the script, I mean, obviously, and you mentioned like three things for each, like for the
strategic and
strategy,
tactical.
strategic, and yeah, like I mean, I guess where would I look on the other script to find that, or like where would I
Yeah,
where?
I will. I'm going to shoot you something over right now. And I want you to look at this, what I'm sending over to you. I think this will be helpful. And then that way you could work on this. So when we meet tomorrow,